Hey guys, I'm going to be teaching you now how to draw a one-point perspective city. This is going to be for a grade, so make sure you follow along. If I move too fast, you can always just pause the lesson and get caught up. So again, make sure you've got a ruler or straight edge, whatever you have available to you, pencil and eraser. So, and obviously a piece of paper. So if you, I would turn your paper landscape style, which means long ways, okay? And just as a reminder, I'm just for the speed of the lesson, I'm not going to always repeat me saying to line your ruler up to the edge of the paper. Hopefully by now you are in the habit of doing that. But anytime I draw a horizontal line or vertical line, I'm going to always be checking. And I always check down here. I always use this side closest to me to look here versus the top because this is closer to my eye level. I can see this better. So, in case you weren't already doing that. So, we are going to start with a horizon line. And we're going to put that right a little bit above halfway of our paper. Okay. All right. I'm going to be putting my vanishing point in the middle. And then I'm going to do my diagonal lines. Now the first set of diagonal lines is going to be my road. I don't want my road to be just huge because I want plenty of space for my buildings. So I'm going to make this a little bit more narrow. I'm also going to be doing a sidewalk, so I want room to add that sidewalk too. So there's my road. So I'm going to come out just a little ways for my sidewalk. Okay. So there's my sidewalk. When we do sidewalks, I'm going to go ahead and add in some details. Again, I'm making sure my ruler is horizontal with my page, and I'm going to be doing across both sides at one time. Makes it go a lot faster. I'm going to do some horizontal lines in my sidewalk. Every time I scoot the ruler back, I need to make sure it's aligned back up with the page. And as I get closer to that vanishing point, my spacing is going to get slowly closer together. Make sure you're following along. Okay. You all see how it's slowly getting closer together? And you're going to continue that until you can't really add any more, or they're not really visible. They get so close together, they just sort of merge. Okay, I think I'm at that point. I might do just a few more. They're so tiny and close together. My ruler wouldn't really help much back there. So, okay, so I've got my sidewalk. So along our sidewalk, we are going to be doing some buildings. Okay, so we're going to start a little bit lower on the page for the buildings that are closest to us. And we're going to be starting with a horizontal line. I actually think before I do that, I'm going to add another little street here. So I'm going to line my ruler up with these lines here that are already straight. I'm going to be using those to help me determine where my sidewalk's going to curve back around on both sides. So I'm just going to line my ruler up with them, and I'm going to carry them back. Okay? I'm going to scoot down one more section, like so. Okay. That might look odd right now, but it'll make sense here in a minute. So this is my sidewalk that passes in front of my building. This is the one that passes along the side. It would be wider down here because it's closer to us, so we're going to see more of it. So now when we do our sidewalk lines for these, we actually kind of want them to be evenly spaced out. So I'm going to take my ruler. If you don't have a ruler, find something that you could maybe use like a eraser end or something to sort of give yourself an even spacing. And I'm going to just measure out a 1/4 inch. All the way down. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so if you can't see, I've got little measurements all the way on that side. Now I'm going to line my ruler up with my vanishing point here, and I'm going to do a little line on my sidewalk at each one of those, because the sidewalk's not going away from us like this one is. So these gradually get closer together. These down here all are the same spacing, but the angles will change the farther away it gets from that vanishing point. So this one's more straight versus like these back here. They're going to be more slanted the farther out it gets. Okay, make sure you're following along with me. Okay. And this really is where a clear ruler comes in pretty handy, I think. I know not everybody's got that, but just work with what you got. And I don't know if you see me, I always move my pencil back up to the vanishing point when I rotate my ruler. It just kind of gives it a pivot point, so I know I'm going to stay aligned with my vanishing point when I draw my lines. And I probably space mine out pretty close. If you have a bit more spacing between yours, it may not take you as long to do your sidewalk as it is mine, but I kind of started my first sidewalk kind of close, so I wanted it to match. You don't want to have like really wide here and really narrow there, just wouldn't make sense. Okay. So again, if you are panicking because your lines are turning, changing the slant more drastic, that is what's supposed to happen. A lot of people go in there and they just do straight vertical lines for this because these were straight horizontal lines, and then the illusion of it being in real space is lost. So make sure you are using your vanishing point and that you are, you know, if it's slanting more and more as it gets out, that's what's supposed to happen. Okay. So I've got my sidewalk here, so I've given myself a corner. I'm going to erase this, however. I don't really want that anymore. That way it looks like I've got an intersection happening right there. Okay, we'll go back and work more on the road later. So right here in the corner, we want to start with a vertical line going up. Again, I'm making sure my ruler is straight at the bottom of my page. I'm going to do a vertical line. I'm not going to pass my horizon line. I'm not even going to get super close to my horizon line because I want to see the top of this building. So I'm going to take it, that's probably good. So that's the corner of my building. I'm going to go ahead and finish out the face of my building. So that means it's going to be the side facing me. So it's going to have a more squared off top. So I've got a horizontal line. I'm making a 90-degree angle here. I'm also making a 90-degree angle here where it meets the sidewalk. And then I'm going to make another 90-degree angle when I bring it back down. So I'm adding another vertical line right there. Okay, so this is the face of my building, basically just a rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to now be taking this building to the vanishing point so it looks like it's 3D. So I'm going to take, I don't have to worry about this corner because this corner is already going to the vanishing point. That's kind of the nice thing about that sidewalk. So I do need to take this corner though. Okay. And then I'm also going to take this corner because I won't cut straight into my object. So remember that rule of thumb, if you're not sure, always just check and see if your line that goes to your vantage point, if you're trying to take that corner, cuts directly into your object. We don't want to. So if I was to come down here and try to take this corner, that one would cut into my building. I don't want to take that one. So now, just like our boxes when we were learning how to do this, this building is going on forever and ever, and we want that to stop. So we want to add a backside. Now, I want to add a few more buildings along this sidewalk here, so I don't want this building to be super wide. And again, a clear ruler really does come in handy so I can kind of see how wide I'm going to go. I think I'm going to end mine right about here. So since if you don't remember how to end your stuff, remember between two diagonal lines that go to the vanishing point, whatever is in between those. So I've got a vertical line in between those. That's how you want to end it. If you're still not sure, line your ruler up with that original line and scoot it back to make a parallel line. Okay? So I'm going to make mine, just make sure your ruler's straight with your page. So I'm going to make mine about there. And then I need to end the top as well. So in between this line and this line that goes to the vanishing point, I have a horizontal line. So that's how I'm going to end this side. So I'm going to line my ruler up the edge of my paper, keeping it nice and horizontal with my page, and then I'm going to do my horizontal line. So I've got a 90-degree angle here and a 90-degree angle here, and then I go back and erase my extra. Okay. So now I'm going to add another building right along here, and I want this building to be shorter. So I'm going to bring, I've already got, like most buildings downtown, butt up side to side. So there's not an alley or space or anything in between most of them. Now I'll probably do one over here that has a little bit of a space just so you can see how to do that. But this one, we're going to share this line, okay? So I don't need to add another one, but I am going to go ahead and add a top horizontal line, okay? So I got my ruler lined up down here, and I'm going to do my horizontal line. We'll make it about that wide, okay? I'll need to finish out the face of my building with a vertical line. And I'm not done, but because this building is still below my eye level, remember that horizon line determines where the viewer's eye level is, I'm going to see the top side of this building too. So I'm going to line my ruler up with my vanishing point in the corner, and then I'm going to take it. Now this one, it would eventually bump into another building, so I'm going to stop my line. Funny enough, that actually merges there. But I don't really want it to look like it's merging in. I would rather see the back side of mine. So and yours may not do that exactly, but if it does, this is how I'm going to do it. So I want to see the end of this building too. So I'm going to line my ruler back up with the edge of my paper on the side, get a nice horizontal line, and I'm going to just come back here and I'm going to add a short little horizontal line right there, and then I'm going to go back and erase that little bit extra. So if you come across that problem, that's how you need to sort of remedy it. And again, most buildings in a downtown area, they're probably about the same depth. So I just wanted a little bit difference between where this line was and this line was, so I ended my building there. Okay. So if I were to add another building or two back this way, I would probably, again, share the same line I've got here, just like I did here. We're going to share this line, so I don't need to add that one. I'm going to add a line, though, for the top of my building that goes to my vanishing point. So I'm going to make this one shorter again. And I'm going to take it, just to save some erasing, I'm going to only take it how far I want my building to be wide. So that's about as wide as I want my building to go. And now I need to kind of do this line to end it here. So I'm going to line up with the end of my diagonal line that I just drew, and I'm going to add a vertical line to attach it to the ground and sidewalk. Okay? And then I would also need to end this. So I would end this building with a horizontal line as well. This one is it's the same steps, it's just in a different order than what we've just done. So, and that's okay. That happens sometimes when you have to work around other objects. So as long as you know the steps, sometimes it doesn't really matter what order you do them in. Although I would always still start with a horizon line and vanishing point before you start drawing any building. So that's how we kind of do that. Now, say I want to do, I don't think I want to add a tall one right there. I'll add some taller ones over here. So these so far are all below the horizon line. So we're seeing the tops of them all. So let's go over here. And just for the sake of this first piece, I kind of always like to start my first ones a little below the horizon line too, and then I might take the next ones up a little bit taller. So I'm going to still do this one. I'm going to start it the same way I did the other street. I'm going to bring up my vertical line. I'll take it a little closer to the finishing point. Actually, no, I don't want to take it that tall, so I won't see my other buildings very well. So I'm going to actually make this one a little shorter than I did this one. Okay. So I've got my line there now. I've already got this one going to the vanishing point, but I need, oh, no, I don't. I need to finish my face. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm going to finish out my rectangle. I'm going to line my ruler up with where I ended that building. Maybe I make this one a bit wider, like so. And then I'm going to finish it out again with a vertical line for the face of my building. Every time I do those vertical and horizontal lines, I'm checking my ruler to make sure it's lined up with my paper. Okay. So now I've got the face of my building. I can take this back to the vanishing point. So I'm going to get my corner matched up to my vanishing point here. And again, if you feel like you got it, you don't have to take it all the way to the vanishing point. Maybe you just take this building as this line as long as you want your building to be wide. Okay? So I'm going to just take mine to about there. And then I'm going to end my vanishing point. Now, if you still don't understand, if you're still struggling understanding your vanishing point and all that, I would probably continue to still take your lines to the vanishing point and then erase the extra. But if you've got it, you can just take it however long you want it to save yourself, again, some time and eraser. I'm going to I don't need to take this corner because my sidewalk's already doing that. I do need to take this corner, okay, because again, this is below my eye level. So I'm going to see this top side of this building. Okay, I'm going to take it a little longer than I would need it, just so I don't have to go back and elongate it. And so now I need to connect it, end it with a horizontal line. Okay. So now, let's say I want my next building to be a taller building, and I want an alley in between them. So instead of sharing a line, I'm going to move over a little bit, and I'm going to leave a gap between. So I'm going to start by adding another vertical line, and you don't want to make it too wide. You don't want it to be like a street. You just really want it to be a pathway. And I'm going to make this one taller than my vanishing point, or than my horizon line. Okay? So I need to finish the face. I'm going to make it a little bit skinnier too. Taller and skinnier. So I'm going to come back over here to finish out the face of my building. And I'm going to do a horizontal line, and we'll call that good. And then I'm going to connect it back down to the ground with a vertical line. Like so. Okay. And now I'm going to take my diagonal line to my vanishing point so that I can see the side of the building. And I'm going to only, again, take it for however long I want it to be wide. So I'm going to take it about that far. Now to end this one, we would need to, we don't have a sidewalk here because we wouldn't see the back side of this building because it's covered up by this building. So we're going to just take a vertical line down until it touches this other building, like so, okay? I would go ahead and want to erase my horizon line that runs inside my building because buildings are not clear. They might have glass windows, but they're not clear. So we are going to go ahead and we're not quite done with this building because even though we've got it taken to the vanishing point and we have the front side of our building and it's connected to the ground, there's a line that's missing that makes it feel finished. And not really finished because we're still going to add windows and doors and signs and stuff like that. But we need to add a line down here to this, from this corner that leads to that vanishing point. So if you remember when we worked on our shapes, when we did certain shapes, you would still take every corner to the vanishing point. But even if it runs into something else, you're going to take it until you run into it, and then you stop your line. So I added this line here, and it gives it the illusion that I can walk back into that space now. We see the bottom of the building over here. So don't forget that. A lot of people tend to forget that, and it makes a big difference as far as making it look more realistic. So from here, we're going to add windows and doors. If we're going to do, or more buildings, actually. We probably want to add a couple more buildings before we do that. So I'm going to add a taller building behind this building here. And I'm going to pull up a vertical line. So again, if I want these buildings to look like they're side by side, I'm going to share that line. Okay? If I want it to look like there's a space between them, I'm going to start another one. So since you know how to make them side by side here, I'm going to make them have another little space here for another alley. Okay? So instead of sharing this line, I'm going to pull up another vertical line. I'm going to leave a space, and I'll take this one a little bit taller too. So I'm going to leave a space between these two. I still need to finish out the front of my building. Even though we won't see the bottom of it because this building's in the way, we still need to finish it out as much as we can. So I'm going to do a horizontal line here, just like I did here, and then I'm going to do a vertical line down, like so. Okay, so that's the face of my building. However, just like, let me zoom in here, So just like this building, we would see this line that goes back so we could kind of determine where the bottom of that is. We would want to add a little line right there too. This time it would be a horizontal line to finish out the bottom of the building. Does that make sense? So if you're wanting to leave space between your buildings, that's what you would need to do. But again, if you don't want space, you just share that same line and just continue your line however you need to. So I've got the face of my building. I need to end it. Take it to the vanishing point to give it depth. I'm not going to take it very far because, again, the closer things get to that vanishing point, the more narrow they're going to be. So I'm going to take it just a little ways, and I'm going to end it with another vertical line. And then I'll take my eraser and erase in there. Okay, so we are not done with this example. However, I am out of time in this lesson, and you're probably about out of time in it as well. So we will continue learning how to draw a city tomorrow. Do not throw this away, but do take, if you're at home, take a picture of this and upload it to today's assignment, and so that you get your participation points. But we will continue this tomorrow.